Yeah, hello. Good evening, viewers. Welcome to KDRTV Live. We are coming live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I might start by saying it looks like the political campaigns are on after watching the Democratic convention last week and ending up yesterday with the Republican convention yesterday. It looks like it's game on for all of us. So KDR TV is now honored and privileged to welcome on the show one of the candidates for the city of Edina, Janet Kitui, who will be sharing us in a moment why she's running for the city's council position, a city what she calls a city for all of us. So, but before we begin with that, I want to very quickly ask Janet to quickly introduce herself to our viewers. Janet, if you don't mind, in a minute, can you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Thank you, Dr. Okari, for this opportunity. My name is Janet Kitui. I am originally from Kenya. I am a long-time resident of Edina City, and I have thrown my effort to run for city council. And the reason I do that is because the time is right, given all that is happening in our community now. I ran because the COVID-19 has exposed the community, all the evils that could happen, all the inequities that could possibly be there are openly shown, from our economic part of it to healthcare outcomes to education. It has just exposed all the issues that have been simmering beneath the surface all this time. Just to continue on the introduction, again, my name is Janet Kitui. I am a state employee of Minnesota. I work for the Department of Employment and Economic Development. I have 3 children and a grandchild. My children have all gone through Edina public schools, and that is the reason I actually moved to Edina. It's for the premier education. It's ranked every year as one of the top 100 high schools in the nation, performance-wise. So it definitely caught my attention, having moved from Kenya to come here and go to school. So education is totally and truly important to me. So I ran because I believe all voices need to be represented and heard in order to tackle the issues as we move forward into the 21st century. So again, thank you for that opportunity to talk to you today.
Okay, so Janet, thank you very much for coming on. So before we even get into the discussion about a city for all of us, let me say personally how much I have tremendous respect for you. So for the many years I've known you as a woman of courage, extremely intelligent, and that you've been involved in pretty much every community event that I've really been to, particularly within the diaspora community in the last 20 years. So I want to make sure that I express that personally on the air, that I do really sincerely appreciate the good work you've done for our community. Further than that, I also want to say that it encourages me and many people are viewing this show, the fact that you and others have stood up, not just coming to America to be part of the story, but you're already making the story. We already have made history by sending one of us to the White House. That's great. And to see you and many others come up and trying to get into these positions of leadership, surely it's very, very strongly encouraging. And I think on behalf of KDRTV, we want to salute you and give you every encouragement possible. So before we get to you, Janet, obviously we need to talk about what's happening in society today before we get to the position, COVID-19, which has really transformed the way we do things. And part of the reason why we here at KDRTV decided to really make this a premier TV for the immigrant population is because we thought in as long as we talk about the negatives associated with COVID-19, we also have to have the positives. And that's important. But let's get it from you as a person. How are you dealing with COVID-19, and professionally, how are you dealing with it?
COVID-19 is definitely challenged everybody. I don't believe there is anybody who has not been challenged by COVID-19. From right now, many parents, and I would just cite my own campaign manager. She is a mother of 2 little girls who are in school, and the school board is struggling to try and make that happen and still keep everybody safe, and the staff is trying to also do the best under the circumstances. So each one of us has been affected in such a profound way, and however we emerge out of this, it's never going to be the same again. I happen to be a state employee. I'm fortunate in that respect. I have been able to work from home. I believe not all of us are that fortunate, and if you're a business owner, it's definitely challenged you. You never planned to have these, so your plan is totally just decimated. Any business that is going to survive during this pandemic to emerge, it's definitely a resilient business. So with that, every one of us is challenged, and the only way we can survive is really leaning on each other, and something as basic as wearing masks is one way to truly be able to control the spread and be able to work through this until a vaccine is found, for all of us to be able to be safe and return to some normalcy. It's not going to be normal again. We cannot go back to what it was before COVID-19. That's just the reality. So it also challenges my campaign in the sense that the door knocking, which has been the traditional way of doing campaign, it's not there. So we have to be creative in how we reach the voters and get the message out that it's an election year. It's definitely a different time for all of us. So.
Okay, good. So those are encouraging words, and we will make sure that we take the opportunity to tell our people, please, this thing is serious. Please take care of yourself. Really, that's important. We don't want by any means to lose anyone during this difficult time. So, Jenny, let's go further and now talk about the city of Edina. Do you mind, very kindly, that those ones who live in Edina, others don't live in Edina? Can you tell us where is Edina? What is so good about Edina, and why are you running for this particular position?
I'm definitely proud to be in Edina. It's a premier city. That, as I mentioned earlier on, I moved to the city specifically for my children to be able to attend Edina Public Schools. And they all have gone through the public schools there. As a premier city, we do have our own challenges. It's a fairly wealthy community. But not all of us are very wealthy, and we don't begrudge those who are wealthy. We just would like to have opportunity for us to equally thrive. And when I say that, that's where I run on the issues of affordability of homes, both on the rental market or home ownership. Someone such as a police officer or a teacher's salary, we would be challenged to really find something within that price. And by the measures of poverty guidelines, federal poverty guidelines, those professions are not anywhere close to that level. Yet it is it's a big stretch to be able to find a home on a single salary if you're a teacher or a police officer. So I am encouraged that if I sit on council, I would definitely be proposing ways to be able to bring about different housing that can be able to accommodate those people. And I fall in that category as well. By all means, I'm not considered below poverty, but I still struggle to be able to find a home that all of us can survive in as a family. Now, fortunately, right now, I'm the only one and my youngest daughter, so we are a two-person family. But if we were all three of us, as we were at one point, finding the size of a home that caters to all of us would definitely be out of reach, and it's what we call priced out of the market. So I do definitely run to be able to create policies that will be able to encourage those types of homes, so all of us can be comfortable and still be able to access the best schools for our children, if that is why we move into the community. But not only does it affect the younger families moving into there, the other spectrum of the citizens as well who are aging in place. They may have purchased their home earlier on in their younger years while their families were young, but they are now empty nesters and are on a fixed income. It becomes burdensome for them when the property values go up. That means the property taxes increase as well. So sometimes you'll find that there are retired people who are equally struggling to maintain or age in place because the property taxes have increased and therefore making it difficult for someone on a fixed income to be able to continue affording their home. So essentially, I run to be able to represent all of us who are not able to otherwise be at the table. So, and those two spectrum of what I've described is truly who I'm speaking and advocating on behalf, if I am fortunate to win in November.
So good. I think the technical, sorry, we kind of had a technical problem somewhere there. So the technical guys need to work on make sure that the volume comes out clearly. So thank you, Janet. So I know I've been to Edina. I did work in Edina for some time. I think I also is a beautiful city. I love Edina. I want to lie to that. And I think a lot of people who've been to Edina will tell you, whether you're going to eat cake, that's the best place you can eat cake within the Twin Cities. So I love Edina for that reason. So I like the mantra. You are saying is a city for all of us. And obviously, we're wishing that you get to the office and do this. Is the second time you're running. Hopefully, this is your time, and we'll give you all the support necessary. But God willing, and obviously God loves you, if you get to that position, try to be more specific. And I'm sure you're competing with others who are also interested in the same position. But what separates you from the others? What are the three major areas that you really feel once you get into the office, you're going to work so that it benefits not a few, but all of us?
I am going to fight to be able to bring the voices that have been left out. And the three pillars of my campaign are affordable housing, racial equity, and sustainable growth. So I have already briefly described about the affordable housing piece of it, and also to just reiterate, I equally serve on the housing task force, which is really looking into which types of homes and housing is currently missing in our community. And we'll be providing a report at some point to the council, and this time it might include me as well. And it is essentially making a study, and it will go along with the comprehensive plan. And the comprehensive plan is a 10-year plan which becomes a blueprint for how growth and development and managing the city affairs is done by the city council. So the report that comes out of the housing task force alongside with the comprehensive will be two documents combined in terms of the housing stock to help guide the decisions as they come before the council. My next issue is the racial equity piece. And when I talk about racial equity, housing is an important factor on racial equity. It guides, it controls, or the outcomes of where you live has impact on your education outcome. It has impact on your healthcare outcome. It has impact on your employment. It has impact on the wealth. It has impact on the future of the children once they graduate from that school. So definitely the housing piece is a foundational, important anchoring of any other facet of one's life, from a family perspective to everyone else in that particular unit. So, and I fight on racial equity because in 2016 we did have an incident in our community, and that definitely did expose the ugly side of our city when brown and black people interact with law enforcement. We are not treated fairly. So I am bringing that to the table to say we are all here and we all need to feel safe and welcome. So when we interact with law enforcement, we are expecting equal treatment such that we are not subjected to unfair treatment just based on the color of our skin. So those are the things I do bring, and I am going to be a passionate advocate for that. I recognize it is one of those things that it's hard to touch the hearts and minds of people. However, slowly by slowly, we are going to work and continuously work on improving our relations and racial equity. We have major gaps, even as COVID-19 is going on. We do show gaps within communities. So if you're a grocery worker, you're going to be challenged living in Edina. But the fact of the matter is, during COVID, it has exposed that the grocery worker at Cab Food are equally important to our survival, which just shows the connectivity of human life. If the grocery worker can't make it to work because they live outside of your city, well, I definitely wouldn't be able to go to the grocery and get my groceries that day. So it is just exposing that even a grocery clerk should be able to live in our community and afford to be able to live there. So I'm truly advocating for the people who are considered essential workers during this COVID-19. And grocery workers are one of those people. Our staff in schools, when they are support staff, they are very vital to our community. The school can never function without the support staff, the bus drivers, the janitors, the clerical staff. They do a lot of things behind the scenes, but yes, I recognize we are paying them $12 and I don't know, $12 salary in Edina. You'll be hard pressed to find a one bedroom or even a studio to support you. So that is why I run. And the final piece of my platform is sustainable development. When I talk about sustainable development, I am referring to encouraging developers who come into our community, whether it's focusing on the commercial building or they're bringing in business, encourage them to be mindful of climate change, using material that is environmentally friendly. And in that way, we at a municipal level have ability to impact climate change by encouraging anyone who comes into our city to be mindful of their impact and the footprint they have on climate change. So that is why I am running, and I hope to be a voice for all of us when I get to win. And I mean, when I am Janet for Edina, for all of us, means I am fully committed to serving the community and representing all voices. So thank you.
So let me ask you, Janet, I know you've lived in the city. Now, I think now the sound system is okay. I think in the last few minutes we've been having problems, but I think now sounds good. So, and for those ones who are watching this, I see a couple of text messages coming my way. If you have any question, please go to Facebook/KDRTV. You can make your comment or post your question. If we have time, Janet can answer some of those questions. And those of you who are watching on YouTube, please post your question there as well. Our technical guys will get the questions, and if you have time, she will as well do that. And also on Twitter, because we are being streamed live, post that question at the end of it. We will be able to post one or two questions, or even words of encouragement to Janet. Will do that at the end of it. So, Janet, you've lived in Edina for a long time. I just want to make understand this clearly. Most of us do visit, obviously, but I don't know the composition of the people who live in Edina. How friendly is it, as far as you know? How friendly is it for particularly the minorities, African immigrants, Asian immigrants there to live and do a business so far?
Definitely, we do have challenges in that area. I have been able to navigate those spaces. So when you ask, I have been a long-time resident. By virtue of being a long-time resident, I've also served I've been president of Parent-Teacher Council in one of my children's schools. And being in those spaces allows me to actually build relationship, both from the teacher, staff, community, and the other parents. And the superintendent and the school board as a direct result of that. So it kind of falls on some level on an individual basis how comfortable you are to be able to, but it can be a challenging place. We are about 2% or so black people in that community. And then the other POCs, people of color, make up about 10% or so. So a total about 12%, and leaves about 84% majority of it are Caucasian. So, but we do not have that. But the data also says that at the moment, children under 10, majority of them are the minority right now. So we are just preparing for what is coming upstream. And I'm thinking that if I get to be elected, it is preparing for that, what is inevitable, and it's already happening. So I continue to be determined that we can coexist, and the more diverse the voices are on the table, the more we can reach to a fulfilling, more rich solution to our problems. So that is why I ran. I am so determined that the more we are diverse in thought, in socioeconomic status, in our life experiences, it will be just enriching. It will never be taking anything away from anybody, but it will just bring us to a more comprehensive solution to our issues at the city level. So that's why I ran. Thank you.
Okay, so that's good. So I appreciate you talked very well. I think that's good, and I think your daughters, who are the reason as to why you moved to that part of the city, should really be very proud of what you're doing. And obviously, we salute the fact that the school board was able to make you the chair or president of the Parent Teachers Association. That was great, and I think it says a lot of good things about the city. So let's talk about a city for all of us. And I want to make sure that as we talk about inclusion or diversity and inclusion, a city for all of us, I think it's safe to say it doesn't necessarily mean all of us, meaning immigrants or minorities or visible minorities, whatever that. It simply means anybody who is living within that city and friends of the city should be included in the conversation. Here we're talking about African immigrants, we're talking about Asians, and we're talking about the Caucasians, who, as you said, are the majority of the population in the Edina. If you're elected to that position, how will you make sure that all these parties or these groups are part of the story? We're going to make sure that no group within that town is or feels excluded in any way possible.
I really believe I can do that, and I am going to be committed to listen to all voices. And I like to say that I want to be your counsel and co-govern with the citizens. And by that, something such as, mask covering, you need to have the input of the community. And you will have both sides, and those are issues that you need to listen to very carefully and arrive. It's not going to be a very easy resolution, but people need to be heard. So whichever community we are in, we just need to know we are being heard. and I am going to try my level best to listen. I cannot guarantee I will deliver whatever is being asked, but the moment a constituency understands you are listening, it's going to be profound. So even if you don't deliver exactly what they did, but the fact that you heard them is so powerful in itself, and it's transformative. So I do hope to be a leader for all, in the aspect that I will not always be able to deliver everything they ask, because I would have one vote and I have other people who also will be casting a vote. However, I do promise to be able to listen and solicit their, and make sure that they are heard regardless of what the issue is. It's very critical and important. So I am going to say I want to be able to co-govern with my constituency in Edina.
Very good. I think so. So let's talk about okay. Let's talk about the main part. Obviously, you're saying a city of for all of us, and you can't do this alone. It's definitely you can't do this alone. We salute you. The willingness to serve and do public service is not easy, but the fact that you're doing it, we obviously applaud you. So, if you don't mind, talk directly to the camera to our communities. What kind of support would you like us to provide you? Obviously, you are and will continue to be a friend of KDRTV. We assure you that platform right here, so no worries about that one. But now I want you to talk directly to our communities and tell them, right straight to their eyes, what kind of help you need from them or from us.
For all of us, if I am successful on November 3rd and I get to sit, it is more importantly for our children who we are raising in this country to be able to see they are capable of a lot more than us who are first generation. I mean, not first, we are the immigrants generation here. Like I say, I am fortunate to live old enough. I do have a grandson, and I hope that he can be able to grow up and see the policies that were made by the adults impact their life in a positive way. What I am going to ask from our community is to be engaged. Be engaged in whatever capacity you can. I would personally ask for your time, your talent, and your treasure in order for me to be able to be seated on council. So when I say time, if you have time and you're able to phone bank for me, please go to my website and sign up and let me know what your available is. And in the time of COVID, technology is very good. I create a list, I email it to you. You start going with my script and calling the constituencies and asking for them to elect Janet Kitui for Edina City Council. The other part is your treasure. When I say the treasure, it's like COVID-19 has definitely made campaigning a very different, we're campaigning very differently. We're going to have to do direct mailers. Direct mailers do cost money. So I am asking for financial support to be able to print mailers to be able to reach the voters. That is one way you can. When I ask for talent, if you are available to contribute and be a part of this campaign, I would welcome your talent. And it is when we are all working in concert, in one accord, that we are able to succeed at the end of the day. More importantly, if I get to be elected, it's not just about Janet. It is about our community as a whole. And that is one thing I would like to just emphasize. The power of us being together collectively is far-reaching for many, many years at this point.